The Nightmare Before Christmas by Tim Burton. The Nightmare Before Christmas by Tim Burton. It was late one fall in Halloween land, and the air was quite chill. Against the moon, a skeleton sat alone upon a hill. He was tall and thin, with a bow tie. Jack Skeleton was his name. He was tired and bored of Halloween land. Everything was always the same. I'm sick of this scaring terror and the fright. I'm tired of something that always goes bump in the night. I'm bored with leering, horrible glances, and my feet hurt from dancing those skeleton dances. I don't like graveyards. I need something new. Something more than life than just saying boo. Then out of the grave, with a curl and a twist, came a whimpering, whining, spectral mist. It was a little ghost dog with a faint little bark, and the jack-o'-lantern nose that glowed in the dark. It was Jack's dog, Zero, his best friend he had, but Jack hardly noticed, which made Zero sad. All that night through the next day, Jack wandered and walked. He was filled with dismay. Then deep in the forest, just right before night, Jack came upon an amazing sight. Not 20 feet from the spot where he stood, 3 massive doorways carved out of wood. He stood before them completely in awe, his gaze transfixed by one special door. Entranced and excited and slightly sense of worry, Jack opened the door to a white, windy flurry. And down he went. Jack didn't know, but he had fallen down in the middle of a place called Christmas Town. Immersed in the light Jack had no longer haunted, he finally found a feeling that he wanted. And so that his friends wouldn't think him a liar, he took a present-filled stocking that hung by a fire. And he took the candies and toys that were stacked on shelves, and a picture of Santa Claus and all of his elves. He took the lights and ornaments and a star from the tree. And from the Christmas Town sign, he took the big C. He picked up everything that sparkled and glowed, and picked it up with a handful of snow. He grabbed it all without being seen, and took it all back to Halloween. Back in Halloween, a group of Jack's peers stared in amazement at his Christmas souvenirs. For this wondrous vision none had prepared, the most excited, even though they were quite scared. For the next few days, while the lightning and thunder, Jack sat alone and obsessively wondered, why is it they get to spread laughter and cheer while we stalk our graveyards and spreading panic and fear? Well, I could be Santa and I could spread cheer. Why does he get to do it year after year? Outraged by injustice, Jack thought and he thought. Then he came with an idea. Yes, why not? In Christmastown, Santa was making some toys when the din he heard a soft noise. He answered the door, and to his surprise, he saw weird little creatures in a strange disguise. They all together ugly and quite polite, but when he opened the sacks, they yelled, "Trick or treat!" And then, in a confused Santa was shoved in a sack and was taken back to Halloween to see the mastermind Jack. Lock, stock, and barrel. In Halloween, everyone gathered once more, for they've never seen a Santa before. And when they curiously gazed at the old man, Jack related to Santa his masterful plan. "My dear Santa Claus, I think it's a crime that you get to be Santa Claus all the time. But now I want to give presents and I want to spread cheer. We're changing places. I'm Santa this year. And it is I who will say Merry Christmas to you, so you can lay in my coffin and creak doors and y'all boo. And please, Mr. Claus, don't think ill of my plan, for I will do the best Santa job that I can." And though Jack and his friends thought that they would do a good job, their idea of Christmas was kind of macabre. Hey, it's the cover page. Look at that. Whew, okay. They were packed up and ready on Halloween Eve day when Jack hitched up his reindeers and with his sleek coffin sleigh. But on Christmas Eve, as they were about to begin, a Halloween fog slowly rolled in. Jack said, "We can't leave. This fog is too thick. There will be no Christmas if I can't be St. Nick." The small glowing light pierced through the fog. What could it be? It was Zero, Jack's dogs. Jack said, "Zero, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" But to be needed was Zero's great dream. He joyously flew to the head of the team, and as the skeletal sleigh started its ghostly flight, Jack cackled, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And off they went. Whew. It was the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was peaceful, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care. When opened that morning, they would be quite a scare. The children were nestled so snug in their beds, with the nightmares of monsters and skeleton heads. The moon hung over the new fallen snow, cast an eerie, pale light over the city below. And Santa Claus' laughter sounded like groans, and the tingling of bells were chattering bones. And what to their wondering eyes would appear a coffin sleigh and skeletal deer. With the skeletal driver so ugly and sick, they knew in a moment this can't be St. Nick. From house to house, with a sense of joy, Jack happily issued a new present and toy. From rooftop to rooftop he jumped and he skipped, leaving presents that seemed to be straight from the crypt. Unaware that the world was in panic and fear, Jack merrily spread his own kind of cheer. Back up a little bit. There we go. He visited the house of Susie and Dave. They got Gumby and Pokey from the grave. Then to the home of little Jane Neiman, she got a baby doll possessed by a demon. A monstrous train with a tentacle track and a ghoulish puppet wielding an axe. A man-eating plant disguised as a reeve, and a vampire teddy bear with very sharp teeth. There were Screams of terror, but Jack didn't hear it. He was too much involved in his own Christmas spirit. Jack looked down from excuse me. Jack looked down from his dark, scary frights and saw a commotion and noise and lights. Why, they're celebrating. It looks like such fun. They're thanking me for the good job that I've done. But as he thought, the fireworks were meant of goodwill, were bullets and missiles intended to kill. When it missed the barrage of the artillery fire, Jack and Zero got to go higher and higher, and when they all flew like a storm from a thistle, that was until they were hit by a well-guided missile. And as they fell on the cemetery way out of sight, he heard Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Jack pulled himself up on a large stone cross, and from there he reviewed his incredible loss. I thought I could be Santa. I had such a belief. Jack was confused and filled with great grief. Not knowing where to turn, he looked to the sky, and he stumbled on a grave, and he started to cry. As Zero and Jack lay crumpled on the ground, they suddenly heard a familiar sound. My dear Jack, said Santa, I applaud your intent. I know wreaking havoc was not what you meant. But so you were sad and feeling quite blue, but taking over Christmas was the wrong thing to do. I hope you realize that Halloween is the right place for you, but a lot more, Jack, that I'd like to say. But now I must hurry. It's almost Christmas Day. He jumped in his sleigh and with a wink of an eye, he said Merry Christmas and bid them goodbye. Back home, Jack was sad, and then like a dream, Santa brought Christmas to the land of Halloween.